Hey everybody, Rob DeLessio, Taste of Retirement. Today what we're doing is deviled eggs. Now you can do them traditional style, that's what you have at Easter or 4th of July, whatever it is. But as always with Taste of Retirement, we like to kick it up a notch. Come on, let me show you how we did it. Okay, deviled eggs. Some people love them, some people hate them. But they've been around a long time. You know, you get them at Easter, you get them at summer picnics, you get them at 4th of July. Deviled eggs are awesome. But the first thing you have to do is you have to hard boil your eggs. Now, you can get on the internet and you can look at 19, 20 different ways that people are gonna say, this is the way to do it, or this is the way to do it. The thing is, no two eggs are exactly the same. So the way I boil my eggs is I get the water going, and it's not boiling yet, and I take the egg and I actually lower it in. I have a slotted spoon, I lower it in, and I rest it against the bottom. And the reason why I do that is because I don't want to crack the egg when it just sinks to the bottom. If you do, then the egg will start to leak out and you'll get all kinds of that lace in your in the water, and it's no good. So I just rest it against the side, roll it down, and then get them in there. And then just let that water start to get hot. Now, if you're putting cold eggs in there, it's gonna bring the temperature of the water down. So if that happens, that's fine. Just know that it's gonna take a little bit longer. And you know what they always say, a washed pot never boils. So we've got the eggs in there. I'm gonna spread them around a little bit just for better surface area coverage. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring it up to a boil, and then I'm gonna go about 7 minutes. And then I'm gonna turn it off, and I'm gonna put a bunch of ice in the water and cool them down as quickly as possible. Okay, so it's been about 10 minutes. The eggs should be hard boiled for now. I guess we'll find out. But one thing I always do is I set an ice bath right next to the pan because I want them to get as cold as they can, as quickly as they can. So I've got water and ice, that's it, it's an ice bath. I take my slotted spoon, come up, and I just place them right in that ice bath. And I want to make sure that they're absolutely as cold as they can get before we start breaking into them. Really, it's mainly so that way when I start to mix with the yolks and start to make the filling for our deviled eggs, that it'll be pliable. So they're nice and cold now. The ice bath really got them cold where we want them to be. What I like to do, again, there's no perfect science to how you crack the egg, but I like to take the point and I'll hit that part on the top and just get a nice break going, and then try to really, as gently as possible, work your way around the outside of the egg. There's a little membrane on the inside of the shell. Try not to dig in with your nails or anything like that. And then just keep working your way around, and then you've got a shell. There'll be little pieces of shell and stuff like that. I always just dip that in the water bath, get that off, and then you have a nicely peeled egg. Okay, so we got the shell off all of the eggs. Then we cut them in half, and I'm just gonna show you. So what we do is we cut it in half lengthwise. And you see here the yolk is cooked perfectly. I like to use a serrated blade when I cut them in half because that way I don't crack it or smash it. But I wanna go nice and smooth, not too abrupt, and just let the knife do the work as I cut through. So just nice and slowly, cut through lengthwise, and then when you cut it back, you'll see the yolk is cooked absolutely perfectly. Now, if done correctly, you just kind of push on the sides and that yolk pops right out. Okay, so when we're making the yolk batter, we've got some homemade mayonnaise, but remember, less is more. I don't want to have to cook more eggs just to get the yolks. So just go slowly and put a little bit in there. We don't want it runny, okay? And then we've got a little bit of Tabasco, a couple sprinkles. I love Tabasco. I think Tabasco is really, really good, but it has certain places that it's good for and certain places that it's not. We're gonna use some smoked paprika. I love paprika. It's got a little bit of that back heat, but the smoked flavor adds some richness to it. And then you're gonna save some of that, honestly, for garnish too. Then we've got Dijon mustard. I love Dijon mustard, man. It's so good. Nice pungent taste to it, but it's just great with eggs. Salt and pepper. So just a little black pepper. And if you don't like the way the black pepper looks, you could actually even use white pepper. You won't see it as well, but I kind of like the way that looks. And then what you're gonna just do is just mash it up. And what you're gonna want, you wanna get a very smooth and consistent consistency. And what I'm gonna do is, you can actually buy a piping bag which is what, you know, bakers use to put like icing on cake and things like that. And that'll make the decoration look real pretty. Or I'll show you in a little bit, you can actually just use a Ziploc bag and cut off the corner of it and then garnish it yourself. Now, if you wanted to buy one of those metal pieces that you put in the corner, it'll put like a decorative edge on it. We're not gonna do that today, so it'll look more rounded. But like I said, you can do whatever you want. It's great. So we've got the yolk mixture. There's some nice consistency here. You don't want it runny at all. You really, really don't. If it's too runny, you've got to hard boil some more eggs, get those yolks out. You can throw the egg part, the white part away, put it in here, mix it up. Okay, and I've got my Ziploc bag and I cut off that corner right here. You can cut a lot or you can cut a little. I always start with a little bit because you can always cut more if the hole's not big enough. Again, you can buy a piping bag at, you know, somewhere that you would buy baking goods, and that's fine if you're doing a lot, but keep in mind, that's a lot of mess. Whereas here, I get to put this in here and then I just get to toss it away. So you kind of just forget about it. But you take your mixture, you spoon it in your bag, or use a spatula for what that's worth. And then you gotta feed that down towards that corner. I'm gonna go ahead and seal the bag off anyway, just because I think it makes it a little bit easier. And then it's just like, I don't know if you've ever put icing or frosting on a cookie or a cake. So you start in the hole. I like to work my way around and then just make it as decorative as possible. Now, I'm not great at this, so I don't anticipate these looking great, but what I do anticipate is them tasting great. Okay, so we've got the deviled eggs, we've got them filled, and at this point, you could do it traditional style and just top it with some paprika, and they'd be ready to go. If you're doing a bunch of them for a massive Easter party or 4th of July or something like that, then maybe that's what you want to do. But here at Taste of Retirement, we always kick it up a notch. So that's exactly what we're gonna do. So I've got some what we call gravlax. That is smoked salmon, kind of using a gas, a nitrogen gas is how that's made. I've got some jumbo lump crab meat that we kind of chopped up just so you get a little bit in every bite. I've got that bread and butter jalapeno relish, so it's got that sweet heat to it. We'll garnish with a little bit of smoked paprika wherever we see fit. So what I want to do, and again, you can mix this up in your mix if you're going to do them all the same. I think a variety is really cool. So it's kind of like, you know, like an appetizer tray. And so don't be stingy. Just, you know, get some on there, place it right in there. The yolk, it's so firm that it'll actually adhere to it. So then we'll take a little bit of the gravlax or the smoked salmon and do that. And then you could spoon that on, I guess, if you wanted to, but I do things the hard way. A little bit of jalapeno relish on top. We'll do the smoked paprika on the crab and on the jalapeno. And then what I'm gonna do here is a couple capers. And some dill on that middle one. There you have it, deviled eggs, twisted just like we do always here at Taste of Retirement. Now, if you like what you saw today, go ahead and click the link. Like and subscribe, you'll see amazing content just like this one. I'm Rob D'Alessio, and this was a Taste of Retirement.